Welcome back, everybody. This is James Bouligny with Cover 1. We are in Week 9 of the Texas high school football season. Before we get any further into it, though, I gotta welcome my co-hosts, Ryan Chadwick.
How's it going, guys?
Paul Harris.
Hey, what's up, James?
And Nick Thompson.
What's going on, y'all?
All right, before we get any further into it, though, we do have to thank our title sponsor, Whataburger.
Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich is back.
Chicken strips. Chicken strips. Chicken strips.
Ranch.
Ranch.
Buffalo. Ranch. Monterey Jack cheese.
The Whataburger Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich. A beautiful masterpiece.
All right, we're going to get right into it. Central Bobcats dropped last week to Odessa Permian after being up at halftime. I'm sure Chadwick is just giddy to talk about it. They do have Midland High this week. Chadwick, talk about it.
So, the ending in that game was absolutely heartbreaking against Odessa Permian. It's a home game that the Bobcats could have won. They were leading the unbeaten Mojo by 9 in the second half. Looked really good on their first touchdown drive in the third quarter, and then just didn't really do anything with it with their next couple of possessions. Got down. Squeak English was the hero in this one. Broke out. What was it, Paul? 78 yards.
74-yard
Yes,
touchdown.
74-yard touchdown with just 2 minutes to go in the game. And man, me and Paul were talking about it earlier this week. It's a throw that English would have made, 9 times out of 10, but. With the rush in his face, he led Jimmy Edwards just a little too much on a path to the end zone on the 2-point conversion. Didn't convert, and the Bobcats ended up falling in that one. So they fell to 0-2 in district and now hit the road against a Midland High team that is playing well above expectations. Let's just put it that way. They are undefeated in district, or did they lose last week, James? I don't even remember.
I think they're 2-0 in district.
Yeah, okay.
1-1 or 2?
Midland has 1-1 because they lost by 1 point to Friendship.
Oh, yeah. In the first week of district play, yeah, I forgot about that. Friendship beat them by 1. But with that being said, they took Friendship down to the wire, and Friendship's also undefeated in district with Odessa Permian. But this one's going to be tough for the Bobcats. So the offenses are honestly pretty similar. It's really going to come down to who can stop the other's playmakers. Midland High is a very talented running back, already committed to UTEP, and I'm excited for this one because the Bobcats have been playing so well, and they showed against Permian that they can really play with anyone in this district. So I'd like to see the Bobcats win, but it's going to be a tough matchup.
All right, Paul, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, it's just no rest for the weary. Central's made huge strides. They've lost by combined 8 points to Permian and Legacy.
And last year, these games were they got beat pretty good last year.
Right, a combined 70 points last year.
Right.
Legacy by 42, Permian by 28. They made huge strides, but that being said, they're still 0-2 in district, and then another huge challenge. Another stud running back, Elijah McCoy, over 1,200 yards. So, and just another huge challenge for Central, and it would be nice to see them be able to cash in all this progress for a win, but tough game this week.
All right, Chadwick, we got to thank our Central sponsor, Angelo Bolt.
All right. Since 1994, Angelo Bolt and Industrial Supply has served the Concho Valley for 30 years and counting. Angelo Bolt is the go-to place for fasteners, power tools, air compressors, safety equipment, and everything in between. Chances are Angelo Bolt will always have what you need when you need it, and in that odd chance they don't have exactly what you're looking for, they'll find it fast. No request is too big or small for Angelo Bolt, located at 808 Warehouse Road, where customer service is their top priority. Thank you, Angelo Bolt, for bringing us all our coverage in the Concho Valley.
All right, good deal. Let's talk about Wichita Falls Memorial and Lubbock, the ranked Lubbock Cooper Pirates, right?
Yep.
Nick, talk about it real quick.
Yeah, so Lubbock Cooper Pirates, they play Wichita Falls Memorial. Lubbock Cooper is 7-1. They're 4-0 in their district play. They have a solid schedule this last few weeks, but their only losses to Friendship High. They only lost by 9 as well to that team. But Memorial's run game seems to be what's kind of clicking for them. I don't think this will be by any means a blowout. I think this will be a really relatively close game. But yeah, like you said, they're ranked 25th. I think if the Cooper Pirates take this win, they'll move them on up higher in the 5A division.
What do you say, Ryan?
I think that this one's going to be one of the biggest tests that Cooper's going to face in district play. Memorial comes into this one also playing very well this season. two comparable games that we can compare between the two is that matchup against the Friendship Tigers. Friendship kind of put the beat down on Memorial a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as some of the other teams that Friendship has beaten. With that being said, it was basically a one-score game between Cooper and Friendship, because this Pirates team can really play when they're firing on all cylinders. I do think the home field advantage is going to help. Wichita Falls is not a short drive, and if Michael Deaver, the Texas Tech commit, and then Ryan Gonzalez hook up early, I do think that Ryan Rodriguez. I'm sorry, Ryan Rodriguez and Michael Deaver hook up, and then I think that connection is going to be hard to stop, and I think that Lubbock Cooper is going to win this one.
All right, we're going out of order here. We got a game here at San Angelo Stadium. It's the first district game for the Lakeview Chiefs. They're playing Pecos, right down the street. Lakeview, of course, still has Chris Avizo quarterback. I think getting second in this district, or even getting first, isn't out of the realm of possibility for Lakeview. They're already going to the playoffs, right? There's only 4 teams in that district, so they're already a lock for the playoffs. But Paul, you went out there and talked to Guevara. Those guys, just settled with making it, or do they understand, like, hey man, we have a chance to go get this one?
I think this is probably the best chance they've had in a long time. The 4 teams in the district have only combined for 8 wins. Andrews has kind of been the team for a while, but they're down as well. I mean,
Right.
It really seems like anybody's race when you look at some of the common opponents. It's pretty close between the teams, so nothing would surprise me. But if ever the Lakeview had a chance to make a run at a district title, I think this is the year.
Yeah, I think so too. And getting that, we've talked about the past couple weeks, is that first seed is so important for a lot of these teams around the Concho Valley. I guess the UIL just wanted to stack them up against some of the better districts out there, because you look at 2A, they're playing monster district that first round, and Lakeview is no different. They've got the Marble Falls, Brownwood, Stephenville
Comanche,
district.
yeah.
They'd be playing. So that first seed is real important to get out of that and go get a playoff win. So I like I said, Avizo, they got Brendan White, one of his targets. They have a chance to go get that first seed and get it. I'm not saying a walk-in, first round win, but have an easier opponent that first round.
Right. They got 2 of their 3 district games at home too, so that should help.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And now we do have to thank the Great American Cookie. Great American Cookie says, good luck, Bobcats and Chiefs, for your next party. Get a cookie that's like a cake. Birthdays, Halloween, or even Dallas Cowboy games. Or whether it's Central Lakeview, or Wall, they can do it all. Great American Cookie is located with Marble Slab right next to Cinemark Tinseltown at 4553 Sherwood Way. All right, let's talk about Reagan County and Sonora real quick, Paul.
Yeah, so last year, Sonora, Ozona, and Forsan tied for the district title. Who's it going to be this year? Well, it looks like it might actually be a different team altogether, that Reagan County may be the district favorite now. After beating Ozona, they beat Cristobal last week. If they can get past Sonora, which is still a big test, even though Sonora struggled last week and lost to Ozona, but if Reagan County wins this game, they're completely in the driver's seat for the title. If Sonora wins it, we could have another 3-way title.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's looking at that first game with Sonora and Forsan as being like a revenge game, but it was really kind of 2 new teams going at it. And with Segura back there at quarterback, and the weapons they have going against Reagan County, and this is kind of a homecoming for Blake Weston there. He coached at Reagan County too as well. Now he's coaching at Sonora. So this will be a really good one. Kyle Brown has those Reagan County Owls playing extremely well. Jarrett Brown is playing very good at quarterback. Kason Brown is just playing everywhere, it seems. You start off at quarterback, now he's at receiver, and he's got D1 offers. So Chris Johnson out of the backfield too is extremely dangerous. So this one will go far into say, okay, how good is Reagan County, or are we going to have a 3-way kind of tie again for that first seed? But now, what about Water Valley and Robert Lee? That's another big 6-man matchup right here in the Concho Valley. What separates them? Probably 30 miles, if 30 miles.
Yeah, 20 or 30 miles or so.
This is what, the de facto district championship game in this district?
Very best could have a say in it still, but it looks like this is the district title. I mean, these are the 2 favorites heading in. They look like they have the best talent out there. And, Water Valley beating Very Best last week. If they beat Robert Lee, Water Valley's all but locked up the district title, and then it would be between Robert Lee and Very Best for second place.
But don't forget Brenner Sherwood out there at Robert Lee might have something to say about that. All right. Let me pay some bills here. For any banking needs, go to Texas Bank. Proven local and strong is how customers refer to Texas Bank, one of the most successful banks in the Lone Star State. Texas Bank is a full-service bank with over $2 billion in assets, and they operate in 16 locations from El Paso to Dallas-Fort Worth, including 3 right here in San Angelo, located at 2201 Sherwood Way, 1850 North Chadbourne, and 4206 College Hills. Texas Bank staff are your friends, family, and neighbors. All right, Chadwick, Players of the Week. Talk about it. Squeak made the list.
All right, yeah, so we're going to start at the San Angelo Central Bobcats. Squeak English, he had an incredible game last week. He really put the team on his back, and it was the main reason why the Bobcats were in it at the end of the night. He finished the game with 15 carries for 188 yards and a rushing touchdown, and he also added 132 yards through the air and another passing touchdown. Kind of a low passing day for the Bobcats and what we're used to, but you know how dangerous he is with his legs. He was the newcomer of the year to District 2-6A last year, and we talk about him a lot, and so we haven't really put him up on this list much. But when you ball out that much against an undefeated opponent, and especially one as high caliber as Odessa Permian, you got to give him credit where credit's due.
You hate Odessa Permian. Come on, you can say it.
I mean, I'm not a fan. That's no. Hey, it's a healthy rivalry.
It's no
I have
secret.
nothing against the kids. It's the team they play for. But our other mention this week is going to be Michael Daniels from Ozona. He's usually their leading receiver, but he had to step up in a big way when, is it Jason Villarreal?
Christian
Villarreal. He went down with an ankle injury. He didn't really, he was not really available, and he is their star running back for the Lions. But Michael Daniels stepped in, was really the motor that kept the Lions offense churning in that big win over Sonora. He had 28 carries for 166 yards, and he also added 5 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. The young man balled out, and the Lions got that all-important district win.
Absolutely. All right. Before we go anywhere, let's thank Jim Bass real quick.
It's our giant tag sale.
Giant tags plus hell means one thing: Giant Tag Hell Sale prices. Right now, during our Giant Tag Hell Sale, you can get a brand new 2024 Ford Explorer XLT for just $32,977. But hurry, these are selling fast. Our Giant Tag Hell Sale at Jim Bass Cars and Trucks, Houston Hart at Arden Road, or shop 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
All right, we're into Chadwick's third favorite segment, I guess. College football. Chadwick, the Texas Tech Red Raiders took a beating last week.
Yeah, let's just put it that way. I don't know if you see, there's not really much of a smile on my face because the one game I truly care about the Red Raiders winning every year is against the Baylor Bears, and let's just say that did not happen. They did pretty much the complete opposite of everything that Nick and I detailed they needed to do last week in that matchup to claim a victory and drop their first Big 12 match of the year. They ended up losing that one 59-35 in a game where Baylor dominated field possession. They dominated time of possession. They dominated the turnover battle. They dominated the yards on the ground. And I think the only category that Texas Tech actually won was in passing yards, and a little bit of that was the last 4 minutes of the game. It was just a bunch of – they got 2 garbage time touchdowns. I'll take them. The 35 looks a whole lot better than the 59-21 it was. But, hey – Coach McGuire says the Red Raiders have got to have a short-term memory, and I need that as well because they hit the road this week to play another in-state rival, the TCU Horned Frogs. Now, the Horned Frogs are not exactly playing up to expectation this year under Texas Tech alumni Sonny Dykes out there, but the Red Raiders have to get back on track, and they have to get back on track first and foremost defensively. TCU can move the ball and can be explosive when they're firing on all cylinders, and that's not something that Texas Tech needs to deal with. Rodriguez and company back there need to be able to lock down that rushing attack to make TCU one-dimensional so the offense can kind of get into a rhythm after last week. But the most important factor in this one is like the field position battle. The Red Raiders didn't start better than their 25 all of last week, and it really affected how Texas Tech could put points on the board. Even if they got 3 first downs, they're at midfield. Meanwhile, the Baylor Bears' average starting field position was like the 40, you know? So I think it's going to be super important for Tech to get into a rhythm and really try to like strangle back some control of their own fates rather than constantly responding to the opponent. But you've heard enough from me. Nick, back me up here, man. Like, what do the Red Raiders got to do to get back on track?
And I'll go piggy side with you there. Rhythm is the key word. I think they just need to find something that clicks. Who was it? Was it Micah Hudson? Is that their other receiver?
Yes, he's our 5-star freshman that everyone thinks should be starting.
Exactly. He needs to be starting. I don't know, like the last quarter, he had a really, really cool catch on the out route there. I don't know. They need to change some things up, I think. I mentioned it last week on Cover One, Baylor's sneaky. Like it's not like they lost by a lot of points the last few games. I don't think they were going to dominate Texas Tech, but I definitely think they were going to give them a run for their money. Going into TCU, though, like you said, I think they're not really living up to expectations. I think we'll definitely go in their yard and stomp around. What do they call this last year? We're out in the desert, so we're going over there for a little bit. So but I think the Red Raiders can get back on track. Just utilize Taj Brooks, throw Micah Hudson in there a couple routes. I don't know. I think we'll bounce back. We'll be all right.
But hang on, Nick. This is a big game, dude, because y'all got credentials, right? Y'all are going.
Yeah.
Both of y'all are going. Nick, talk about it real quick. Are you excited?
I'm very excited to be out on the field and film out there for him. So I'll be wrapping up, cheering him on while holding that camera. So I'm excited.
All right, Chadwick, what were you gonna say?
Exactly what you just said. Kind of stole my thunder there.
Well, good.
Anyway, I think that the experience of just being able to go on the road and cover a road college game it's gonna be a first for me too. So I'm super excited about it, and I do think that Texas Tech can grab a win in this one. To your point, Nick, I will respond to the Micah Hudson thing. Caleb Douglas and Coy Eakin have proved that they are the true numbers 2 and 3, and Josh Kelly's a first-round draft pick. So while I feel you, like from a fan's perspective, we should be utilizing our 5-star receiver a little bit more. I mean, I do feel like that our receivers are playing at a high enough level to where Micah will play when he's ready. But like I think it really comes down to time in the pocket for Baron Morton and that offensive line. Like I think our receivers will get open, but like Morton was running for his life last week.
Do I have anything to say? Sorry.
I definitely agree. And there's nothing wrong with Micah Hudson sitting back and watching these guys either, especially as a freshman. I think they'll. I mean, like you said, if they're already establishing themselves out there, then that's fine. I mean, throw them in a couple plays. Maybe you can catch a couple cool, 20-yard passes that'll set them up in good driving position. But I don't know. I think I agree with you. I think Texas Tech just needs to fix the little things and not go around full circle again. That loss to Washington State was pretty hard, and this one's even worse. So I think we should just get back on track and just smooth it out for the rest of the year.
I will say, if he does have any cool catches, you're going to be able to get it on film, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So when you put Micah Hudson in, make sure you run routes right in front of Nick.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm going to be his biggest fan on the field. Oh, yeah.
All right. It's ASU's homecoming, right, Paul?
It is.
And they put the beat down last week. Their defense is playing really good. Over the past couple weeks, they've been handling opponents pretty well.
Yeah, that top 10 defense that we were expecting, heading into the season is lived up to every bit of it. I mean, they've just been dominant. 14 points in the last 4 games. Both those were garbage time touchdowns too. They were well in control both times. So that defense is just playing absolutely incredible. It's 5 in a row now. They're leading the conference, and they're going to be a huge favorite this week against Sul Ross. Big time games coming up down the road with Central Washington and Western Oregon. But this will probably, no offense to Sul Ross State, they're a conference newcomer, first year here. So ASU will probably, just be able to get a lot of playing time for a lot of the backups, and then big games down the road for them.
Well, and I think it's important to know, too, for Sul Ross, like, not only is this their first year in the conference, this is their first year as a D2 school. You
Right.
know? They've been a D3 school for a long time. I know that Sul Ross recruits heavily out of the West Texas area. And I know
the small schools around
there's
here.
a bunch of small school athletes that end up playing at Sul Ross. But they're about to get a very heavy dose of what a D2 title contender can do. So I'm excited to see what ASU can do. I think that they've completely figured out their offense. It seems like they keep switching back and forth between sometimes they want to be a running team, sometimes they want to be a passing team, but it seems like over the last couple of weeks they've leaned into that passing game hard. And after not being able to find a quarterback the first couple of weeks, they have one now in Fuller. So I also think the Rams are going to roll this week, and it's just a matter of time before ASU is truly tested against Western Oregon and Central Washington.
All right, there you have it. ASU homecoming, sure to give Sul Ross State a warm welcome into 2A football, or D2 football. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on high school. I'm going to move on. The weekend is incoming. You can catch all the collegiate and pro NFL action at the ArcLight Bar and Grill inside the Clarion Hotel located at 441 Rio Concho Drive. The ArcLight has the largest video wall in West Texas in addition to 20 other flat screen TVs to keep up with your alma mater, your favorite team, or keep up with all the games for your fantasy team. Mine is doing terribly. The ArcLight Bar and Grill also has daily drink specials and specials from the kitchen. The ArcLight Bar and Grill located inside the Clarion Hotel at 441 Rio Concho Drive in San Angelo. All right, Chad, we're going to get to picks. I know it's your favorite to talk trash to me, so let's hear it.
Well, Paul's catching up to me, man. The Bobcats needed to pull through, but that 2-point loss hurts. He's now one game behind me. I'm still in first place at 33-7. I went 4-1 last week. Paul is at 32-8. He went 5-0. He went perfect last week. Lucas still sits in third place. Nick is in fourth. Tied with James. James, you improved, man. You're tied for fourth now.
Yeah, no, it's what happens when you start paying attention.
And Ernesto had a rough week, or at least Scott did. Ernesto actually went 5-0 this week, so Ernesto went perfect on picks. But he still brings up the rear at 23-17.
All right, let's talk about Central while we have you there.
All right, so this one is completely split down the middle. It's a little bit more favored to Midland side, but me, Lucas, and Scott all picked the Bobcats. You know, I'm always going to roll with my alma mater. Meanwhile, Nick, Paul, Ernesto, and James have all picked the Bulldogs.
All right, moving on to Wichita Falls Memorial and Lubbock Cooper. Everybody but Ernesto is going Lubbock Cooper. Ernesto is going Wichita Falls Memorial. Reagan County at Sonora. Chadwick went Reagan County. Paul went Reagan County. Nick went Reagan County. Lucas went Reagan County. Ernesto went Reagan County. Scott went Reagan County. And I went Sonora.
Because he's always going to pick the Broncos. See, there's nothing wrong with that, James.
There's nothing wrong with
it.
Okay, when have I ever had issues with that?
Every single week, whenever you talk about me and the Bobcats, that's when.
Bro, I treat you with the highest authority. I don't know.
Let's just move on. Water Valley and Robert Lee.
I never talk trash about you, Chadwick.
So me, Lucas, and Paul are the only ones rolling with Water Valley. Meanwhile, James, Ernesto, Nick, and Scott have all picked the Steers.
All right. We're going to get to final thoughts real quick. Nick, Post at New Home.
Yeah, so the Post Antelopes play the New Home Leopards. They played it this week. Sorry, just lost my train of thought there. Ryan Chadwick was down there last week when they dominated against Olton, I believe, 48-6. And then the game prior to that was New Deal, 61-20. They're 7-0 in their schedule, and then 2-0 in their district. For a little couple stoplight town that's 40 minutes away from where I'm at. It's pretty cool to see them at that high up. They're pretty solid little 2A team there. But New Home, they beat Floydada 40-7 and then lost to Abernathy the week before 25-20. So personally, I think the Antelopes will go ahead and keep trumping through and kind of go 3-0 in the district and then 8-0 on the record.
I will say New Home traditionally has a pretty good program there, and to play Abernathy 25-20,
yeah,
you're still a good program. I haven't been up there yet, so I haven't been able to see them firsthand, but I am excited to get up there and see some New Home and some New Deal, and because Dallas Sumner's still at New Deal.
Yeah.
And he's a great quarterback, and Newhome's quarterback was picked in Texas football to be the offensive MVP for that district.
Well,
So-
and yeah, I was at the Muleshoe Newhome game, and Newhome ended up losing that one, but like it was a high level football game. So like I think that Newhome's dealt with a couple of injuries on the line this year, but they will be a very tough opponent for Post.
And Ryan, go ahead and talk about Odessa High and Friendship while you're there.
All right, so we're returning to District 268. The game I'm going to be at this weekend is the Odessa High Broncos at the Friendship Tigers. Now, Friendship has kind of beat all expectations this year. I know they have D1 athletes on that football team, but Permian and Legacy were definitely the favorites. That Friendship offense continues to be electric, and it seems like they have that grit to win in that they have more than one-point wins in the second half of this season. Now they ended up beating Midland High by 1 in a very back-and-forth game. So, like, you can never count the Tigers out no matter what the score is. Defensively, like, the Friendship has proved that you can score on them, and Odessa High is very good at that. Like, they are really good at tossing the ball around and putting up a lot of points. They proved that against the other game I covered against Monterey. But this matchup should be high-flying, and if Central wants to make the playoffs, Friendship needs to win this game to keep Odessa High in one of the bottom spots.
All right, Paul, you got a couple you want to talk about. Hamlin, Miles, and Holland and Mason. Should be good games.
Heck yeah. So Hamlin and Miles, identical records, both teams 5-2 overall, 1-1 in district. And, for Miles, after the setback against Albany, they really need to run the table through district to get that second place spot. And this will be one of their toughest tests. So, they're at home. I don't know if they have Tevin Meade back yet. That'd be huge for the running game.
It would be.
Though Dylan Medina had over 100 yards last week. So
And Jalen Torres can always chip in, too.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I took you off your train of thought.
No. Maybe that's the one that somebody had 100 yards last week. But Miles has been rolling, for the most part this year. And so this is a big game for them if they want to get second place. And then district title game, basically, Mason and Holland. Mason hadn't lost a district game since 2010, I believe. Both these teams are 6-1 overall, 2-0 in district. And this will be one of the biggest tests Mason has faced during that whole district streak.
Yeah, I think Mason's going on like 19 or 20 straight district titles or something. Like, something just unheard of.
14 in a row. It's been a long time since they,
I mean, they're used to winning down there in the hill country. But speaking of Mason, I mean, I'm just right north of them. The Brady Bulldogs are playing extremely good football this year. Johnny Menefield and Ashton Taylor are running out of their minds. They're protecting Sean Jacoby, who's really taking a step forward. And I was talking to Jaron Roberts, who just won, Coach of the Week for their win against Eastland. I mean, these guys don't care about their individual stats. These guys are all about the team. Hey, if one guy goes off this week and I don't, okay, we got the win. And that's so important. And it's a great. I mean, we talked about it before up here that Jaron Roberts is one of the better things to happen to that program, and for Villegas to bring him in and recognize that just the sky's the limit for Brady this year. They have a real chance to get that. Beating Toller is going to be tough.
Right.
Toller's in their district, and Toller just moved up to 3A Division II, but they still have Peyton Brown at running back, and that was a big reason why they scheduled Ozona. Because one, that's a long drive for him, just like Toller's going to be a long drive for him. But you also had Christian Villarreal, Peyton Brown. You had good running games, so that was one reason why they hey, let's go ahead and look at that. But they're playing extremely good football this year. Beat Easton last week, beat Dublin. They're 2-0 in district. They've only lost one game this year to Mason, and it's no shame losing to Mason. You can ask anybody around the Concho Valley. Mason's a good program, and Brady is just playing good. They're playing, and Menifield's got almost 100 tackles on the year already.
Yeah, he's already got 80-something tackles.
Yeah, he was on our cover one list that first year as a sophomore with over 100 tackles. They're playing extremely well, and they're playing as a team. And shout out to Coach Roberts, Coach Bates, the entire coaching staff out there. You've got a great program. You got DeMarcus Reed up front. You got big guys up front who can push the line. I enjoy what I'm seeing from Brady. I'm happy they're having a really good season. But again, it's like the UI held something against the Concho Valley. They play a stacked district coming out. I think they play the City View district, the Jacksboro district. So getting that number 1 seed is so important, because a lot of these districts, any one of the top 4 teams going could be a first seed in any other district. But our session timed out with Nick. So for Nick Thompson, you have anything you want to add before you go anywhere?
Nah, man, that's it.
All right.
Week 9, man, let's go.
All right. So for Nick Thompson, Ryan Chadwick, Paul Harris, I'm James Bouligny. Stick around for the halftime scores update.